Hi, I'm Tom Summer. I'm a World War I reenactor. I'm outfitted today as a Imperial German Army late war. You can tell I'm late war. The design of my helmet is a little more pronounced, while this gentleman is dressed more as an early war soldier. Late war, I would be dressed as a Stoßtruppen. Those are the assault troops. They were specially trained to take trenches. They had a lot of grenades. They had the shorter Mauser, lots of ammunition. So their job was to assault and take trenches. Early war, this gentleman, first of all, his helmet is a Pickelhaube, and it is the pointed hat people recognize from, well, things like Hogan's Heroes, but it's a traditional old German helmet. They later went to the steel helmet for better protection. He, is not as heavily, doesn't have as much ammunition. Early war, it was not as intense, the fighting. It got more and more intense, particularly by the time the U.S. got in 1917, everybody was very heavily armed. The other gentleman here, he would be more like a mid-war soldier. He does have the metal pot, but he has a fair amount of ammo. He could also pass for late war. This guy would be more like on guard duty or this type of thing. His hat is the more relaxed off-duty hat. It's called a Feldmutz. We have gas masks. This would be the metal canister. Early, they had the cloth canister. We're all wearing the German jack boots. So that was the standard boot wear, although Germans also wore the wraps on the legs, which are called puttees, but that was another way that it was done. So the group that most of us have done some reenacting with is Infantry Regiment 92. They were from Braunschweig, Germany. They were in the whole war from 14 to 18. It was a very old and famous German unit. So with this, you're seeing a variety of different roles from the First World War.
My name is Stephen Patrico, and I'm a World War I reenactor with the 92nd. This is a replica of a section of trench during the First World War. This would have been underground, dug into the ground, and this would keep the trench. The walls would keep the trench from caving in on the men. Over here, you have a fire step. You want to step on it, so you would be able to fire over the trench during an attack. And what I'm standing on is a duckboard. The trenches would have been full of mud, and this would keep the men somewhat out of the mud, keep their feet dry. You want to demonstrate this? This is to look over the trench without exposing yourself. They made up trench periscopes. They would have mirrors made into them, and they would make those behind the line with pieces of scrap wood and mirror. And that way you could look over the trench without being hit. About 90% of the wounds during the wounds and fatal fatalities were caused by head and shoulder wounds. And the reason the men were underground was because of machine gun fire, and also barrages from artillery. And they would have the trenches would go for a certain length, and they would cut at right angles, as in a zigzag formation. So if one section of trench was hit, the men on the other side of the zigzag wouldn't be taken out by the same shell. And behind them, there would be, over here, and also would be a wall, and in a lot of cases, there would be dugouts dug in, so you could put 20 to 40 men into it during a barrage for protection.
As far as people interested in World War I, because this year, 2017, is the 100-year anniversary of the United States getting into the war. Upcoming events, Armed Forces Weekend, May 20th and 21st at Orange, Mass, right off Route 2, is a timeline event. They have World War I, also World War II, Civil War. They're going to have some Revolutionary War. That would be one upcoming event. The first weekend in August at the Fort Devens Museum is probably the largest World War I living history of the year. If you like World War II, I would suggest Columbus Day weekend at the Collings Foundation in Stowe, Mass. is a very big World War II reenactment. So all these things are available depending on what period you're interested in.